welcome to Keep Calm and Fasten Your Seatbelts. So I wear dark hoodies, so I'm a legit security engineer, as you can see. This is my handle, Sonya Moisset, if you want to follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Medium. So I just want to start first with what is cybersecurity and why is it important these days. So briefly, cybersecurity is the techniques of protecting computers, networks, programs, and data from unauthorized access or attacks that are aimed for exploitation. And actually for companies, what it means is that the investments in security move from nice to have to must have. So for example, in October 2016, there was a series of DDoS attacks were launched against DNS servers, which caused major disruptions on several websites, like GitHub, Spotify, PayPal, Twitter. And you could actually see the little unicorn of GitHub. So how is this possible, actually? Are you familiar with Shodan.io? This is basically like the Google for IoT. So if you type webcam, you'll see actually a lot of webcam with open port, and you can see really interesting stuff. So basically what an attacker would do is actually collect a lot of IoT to prepare a DDoS attack and take down a server. This is why you would have this kind of answer from a website. Also, you would have ransomware. So basically, ransomware would actually encrypt your data within your computer, and you have to pay the ransom to be able to decrypt your data. WannaCry 2 years ago, and it actually impacted 130 countries and more than 300,000 machines. So we say, okay, cool, Sonya, you're talking about cybersecurity, but we're just React developers, so how can we relate? Do you guys know this, who Dominic Tar is? No? Okay, so Dominic Tar was the maintainer of EventStream, the repo. You might actually heard last year, there was a little bit of drama around this package. So a malicious package called flatmat stream was actually published to NPM and was added as a dependency to the widely used EventStream package by the user Write9 control. 8 million downloads later, actually the application was all over the web, and where the app were running malicious code in production. So basically that attacker, Write9 control, just wanted to siphon the wallet from this Bitcoin wallet. So he actually developed this malicious bit of code to have it implemented with it, EventStream, and try to actually attack this website. So the EventStream package is a toolkit that provides utilities to create and manage streams, which is good. That's why it's a really popular package. It was authored by Dominic Tar. Dominic Tar was actually maintaining 432 packages. That's probably why he actually gave the maintenance to another contributor. And this repo was particularly popular with 2,000 stars. So what happened? Actually, the bad guy did a little bit of social engineer for the dev. So usually when you have open source, you will raise issues. And so the attacker went through all these issues and captured this dialogue between one of the contributor and Dominic. And especially the last sentence, if you publish a flat map module and then make a PR to include, I will merge it. This was actually the interesting piece for the attacker, because he actually created a flat map module and it got merged within the code. This is just a quick timeline of the events. So the package was created in 2011. Then you could see the maintenance went down in 2015. Then they had time the attacker had time to do a little bit of social engineering around the Dominic Tar, the developer, and just launch his attack. And you could see that it actually peaked between November and December from last year. Since then, the repository actually been archived by the owner. It's only now read-only. You cannot push or contribute to this repo anymore. The attacker, Write9 control, his profile has been pulled down. But because internet is a wonderful land, you can actually still see it from Google Cache. And you can also feel the love from developers that are actually updating the packages and thanking Write9 control with the name of the PR, actually, which is amazing. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about web app security and what web app security is. So it's a branch of InfoSec that deals specifically with security of websites, web app, and web services. I would like to introduce OWASP. Some of you are familiar with this organization. Cool. Okay, I can see some hands. So OWASP stands for the Open Web App Security Project. It's basically a community that is dedicated to create documents and to educate developers. They do have a website here. It's the nice website. It looks like a wiki page, actually. So they provide application security tools, standards, a lot of guides, complete books. It's insane. Everything is free. I would really strongly recommend to go and have a look at this. So I'm going to introduce 3 of the OWASP top 10. You might be familiar with that one, actually, as a developer. The proactive control and the ASVS. So the OWASP proactive controls is actually a list of security techniques that should be included in every software development project. It is ordered by order of importance. So this would be the top 10 proactive controls. And we're actually interested by C2. And because it's ordered by order of importance, you can actually think that, yeah, this is actually really important to take care of this. So what does it mean actually to leverage security frameworks and libraries? Basically, what they recommend is not to start from scratch and create your own framework and libraries, just to use a library or framework that already exists, already has been tested and supported, like for example, React. And also to implement best practices, which means use a library and framework from trusted sources, like React. Don't try to recreate your own framework. Create and maintain also an inventory catalog. This one is a little bit tricky because we don't really know all the dependency within an application. So when you look at Facebook React on GitHub, you can see that actually, and what the previous speaker was talking about, it's not going to go anywhere. It's here. You can see the number of stars, you can see the number of contributors, the number of commits. You know that this application is trusted. Also, same if you go to the NPM website, you can see almost 6 million downloads weekly. It's insane. So, as I said, maybe you're probably more familiar with the OWASP top 10. Is there anyone familiar with it? Yeah, slightly? Nice. Okay, so the primary aim with the OWASP top 10 is to educate developers, designers, everyone involved in the creation of the design of an application. Before showing you the top 10, I would say don't stop at those 10. There's more actually vulnerabilities than that. It could simply change. So what are application security risks? As I showed you before with the event stream package, you could see that this would be the bad guy. The attack vector would be through social engineering, the developers, pushing the code through the repo, and then when the other application use this code, it will actually impact a lot of applications. And as you can see, would impact not only the website for the Bitcoin wallet, but also other applications. So this is the OWASP top 10. You can see a slight difference between the 2013 and 2017 versions. But we're going to focus on A9 using components with known vulnerabilities. So basically, threat agents would be, as I said, the attacker is actually quite easy to create a malicious piece of code and have it embedded in an application, especially with open source. If you're a contributor, you can just do raise a PR and then it got merged, and this is where it all starts. And in terms of impact, it could be really bad for the company, for example, in terms financially or in terms of reputation. So how do you know if your application is vulnerable, actually? If you don't know the version of all your components, so who here knows all the versions of all your components? Apart from React, obviously, because you will say if it's version 15 or 16, but apart from React, yeah. If your software is vulnerable, unsupported, or out of date, if you don't scan actually regularly for vulnerabilities, and I will show you later a couple of tools that actually can help you scanning those vulnerabilities. So how to prevent this? Actually, you should have like a patch management process in place to actually remove all those unused dependencies and necessary features. It's actually good to do a little bit of health check on your application. continuously inventory both on the client side and server side which kind of components you're using as well. Only obtain components from official sources. Also be careful when you do npm or yarn install and then the name of the component. Be careful with typo squatting. For example, if you do npm install react with double E, it might be a malicious package, but yeah. Also, you can continuously monitor sources like the CVE for vulnerabilities in the components. I will show you tools also that does that automatically. Just for you to show, this is the CVE, which stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures website, and lists actually all the vulnerabilities around a package or a component. This is a screenshot for React. For example, they had vulnerability last year that actually has been fixed, and it shows how the React community is quite proactive to try and fix security issues. So every organization must ensure that there is an ongoing plan for monitoring, triaging, and applying updates or configuration changes for the lifetime of the app or your portfolio. Lastly, the last tool was ASVS. This is just providing the developers with a list of requirements for secure development. There's approximately like 200 requirements. It's complete. It covers authentication, session management, access control, really everything. This is just an example of the checklist. And I would like to focus on the first one. Verify the use of a secure software development lifecycle that addresses security in all stages of development. And I'm going to show you how. So I just wanted to introduce to you a couple of tools that will help you actually pushing security left. So the first one would be GitHub Dependency Graph. Some of you are familiar with this tool. Yeah, always the same one. Okay. So this tool actually covers some languages, Java, JavaScript, .NET, Python, Ruby. Basically what it does, it scans the package JSON, it scans all your dependencies, and will let you know if there's any vulnerability. Really easy to set up. If you have a private repo, you go to the Insights tab, you go to Dependency Graph, and then you can allow access. It's a read-only access. If you have any vulnerability within your repo, it will actually show you. You'll have like this yellow window at the top. And it will actually tell you which version you have to upgrade to. Also, conveniently, they will send you an email directly with the version of the package to be upgraded. It's quite convenient. So yeah, it's free. You can enable your dependency graph on your private repos. It's out of the box for public repos. It's already set up. You can set notification preferences, and the most important thing is to respond to the alert. Obviously, don't let this yellow box just sitting there. The second tool I would like to introduce you is Snyk. Is there anyone familiar with Snyk? More people, yay! Okay, so it's the same idea, actually, continuously monitor your application dependencies. Obviously, Snyk has a larger database of vulnerability they can check against. And also, there's more languages they're covering. So this is the React package. Obviously, no vulnerability. Good news. This is one example that I've actually run through one of my projects. So you can see that it will flag actually if there is vulnerability within the package, and they will give you a little bit of description as well. And if you need more description, you just go deeper on it. Here you can see that Gatsby is the bad guy, but actually there's no fix for this one. We're still waiting to fix for this. You can also set Snyk through Slack. So you'll have a Snyk bot, and it will actually, once you trigger a scan, it will send an alert automatically through the Slack channel. If you don't know how to set up the Slack channel, the integration is actually quite straightforward. You could do edit setting. It will actually trigger and create a webhook. It's very straightforward. You can just select the channel you want to feed with the alerts. Select an icon, and you're done with the Slack integration. You could also implement it within your CI/CD pipeline, and it will be triggered at every push or every PR created. So you would have another as well. A level of protection. And like the GitHub dependency graph, they're sending also email when you have vulnerabilities. A good tip as well, if you're working on open source project, you can go to the marketplace on GitHub, and you actually have a security side with different tools. They're all free if you're working for open source. So I'll show you a sneak. I'm going to show you Dependabot. Exactly the same principle. They will actually raise automatically the PR, as you can see. They have a compatibility score, which means that they will check against other companies and let you know if you can actually merge it without any consequences within your code. And also they will feed back to your Slack if you're doing a Slack integration. So this was for the packages, but what about with the on the script side, if you're integrating JavaScript scripts within your code? So it's a tricky question. Do you know about this snippet of code? Just throwing this. Okay, so it's actually this guy, Igor Escobar. I'm sure he's a great guy, but the thing is, this snippet of code has been embedded on Donald Trump website during his campaign. I don't think, maybe, I don't know his political view, but maybe he wasn't happy. But what could you do if you could modify that script and cause your own arbitrary JavaScript to execute on Trump's website? Almost anything. Seriously, so you could actually modify the DOM, you can redirect the user to another website, malicious website. You can load in external content. You can challenge visitor to install software, obviously bad malicious code. You can add a keylogger, and you can also grab the cookies. That's another example of what could happen when you're embedding scripts. Can you see what's wrong here? It's in the console, it's just a way. So basically, if you're looking at the console, you have like a coinhive.com, which is quite surprising actually, because this is not really a website for a Bitcoin thing. So what happened is this script that has been embedded is actually accessibility software. This one, Browse Aloud, which is cool because you're actually implementing accessibility within a website. But this piece of code has been compromised. This is the malicious code that has been injected within the script. You don't need to go through it. It's just, you see at the end, they're starting actually minor dot start. Yeah, that's a crypto miner within the website. Great news. Yeah. So what happened? Someone actually managed to gain access to the storage where this file was and compromise it. So the file gets distributed through the CDN. And as you can imagine, now every single website is embedding it, has a crypto miner. Yeah, kudos to the hacker. Might be happy now. So how can you actually protect yourself from this kind of attack? One of the solutions would be to integrate what we call super-source integrity. So you would have actually a hash like this following your script. And this hash, if it's different from the one specified, the browser will actually won't run it. So this is a new specification from W3C. It's part of best practice. So this website actually is this one, and you can, if you put the URL, it will actually generate a SHA. That's probably the bad news if you're checking can I use. It's not supported by all browsers, unfortunately. The other solution would be to implement a content security policy, CSP. So it's an added layer of security that helps you detect and mitigate certain types of attacks like cross-app scripting or data injection. So to enable the CSP, basically you will cherry pick which kind of files or assets you want by pages. For example, you want this type of JavaScript, you want this images, you want this CSS per page. And you will only allow those files and not other files. So you could do it through a content security policy HTTP header. If you can't change the header, you can do through the meta elements. Now I will show you more tools to do some online scan. So are you familiar with this one, WebHints? Yeah, it was previously called Sonya Whale. By the way, that's their mascot, the little whale. So it's a linting tool for the web with a strong focus on the developer experience. That's the website. It was previously developed by Microsoft Edge team. Now it's open source through the JavaScript Foundation project. I've run the tool on React.js organization. Those are the results. There's like 5 security issues. That's surprising for Facebook. I'm just reading. I'm kidding. Yeah, but the good thing is, actually, if you don't know what those accessibility, compatibility, and other hints means, you can actually click on those links, and it will give you a complete page with a description of why you need to actually do those. You also have Lighthouse within the DevTools on the Audit tab. And for the security bit, you have, I can't remember where it's embedded. It's embedded somewhere. It's actually the Sneak DB they're checking against, and it's integrated within Lighthouse. Also, if you would like to check your headers, you can use this website, Security Headers. I tried with Facebook. The great news is they're using a content security policy. Yay, Facebook. So what's next? If you're actually thrilled by the thing that I showed you and you would like to implement those tools within your company, you can act as a security champion. So basically, a security champion is the point of contact between the developer teams and the security team. So you would actually, because the security team might be too small in your company and they won't be able to attend all the Scrum ceremonies like the stand-ups, the refinement, planning, and all those. So as a security champion, you will actually feed back to the security. This is the ticket we're working on. I think there's this issue in this feature we're working on. So it's good to have this kind of dialogue. The good thing as well, if there's a security champion schema in place in your company, you can also have training. You can also go to conferences depending on the company if they have this sort of schema. So security are not the bad guys. We're just helping you, and we're not blocking you. At the end of the day, we're all working on the same product, and we don't want to have, as you might probably be used to, have those breaches every morning or receiving an email from "Have I been pwned?" Also, JavaScript ecosystem is amazing, but it can be dangerous, as I showed you with packages. But there are tools, actually there's a lot of tools with Sneak, Dependency, and they're all free, so you can implement them within your CI/CD pipeline. For the resources, I'll invite you to, if you're interested, you could actually have the State of Open Source that has been released by Sneak. Sonya as well has released an interesting report, also talking more about the Equifax issue that have been last year. There's an interesting blog post on the postmortem on the event stream backdoor. I would also strongly recommend Troy Hunt, who has really interesting blog post on the CSP and SRI. This is just like shamelessly politicized. So if you're interested in becoming a security engineer, yeah, just have a look at my blog post. I try to actually gather a lot of links if you want to have a read. Also, if you're interested by cybersecurity, you could join the Always London chapter. Or if you're a woman or identify as a woman, you can also join Legacy of London Hacking Society. They're doing really great stuff there. I would strongly recommend you to join it. So yeah, basically, I will just finish with this one. Get secure, be secure, and stay secure. Thank you.